You've got 3 minutes to outline how you intend to grab the lion's share of the 5 million votes available in Gauteng. What are your promises and what have you achieved?
Thank you so much. And good morning to everybody who's here. So the ANC, stands for, and its strategic objective, which is its priority, is that we want to create a South Africa that is united, it's democratic, prosperous, non-sexist, and non-racist. And we premise everything that we do to be able to achieve that. We've outlined our manifesto for the next 5 years, and our manifesto speaks to 6 priorities. Our first priority is a jobs plan, putting South Africans to work, using both legislation but also policy to be able to do that. Our second is to support industrialization as well as develop infrastructure. We know that government spending has reduced on infrastructure, but we're going to increase that using public-private partnerships, using the money that we have in the fiscus to be able to do that, and to do this also so that we can grow an inclusive economy. Our third priority is to tackle the high cost of living and provide income support. Especially in Gauteng, we understand and we know the fact that our cost of living has increased through various factors, and for Gauteng residents especially, this is very important and very key. Our fourth priority in our manifesto is to advance social transformation and invest in people. That's about just increasing what we have done in the social base, investing in people, building a very strong public institutions, using professionals, building strong public administration to be able to do that. Our fifth priority is to advance and defend the gains of our freedom and democracy. And it's because of that very strong democracy that we have that we are able to have such a robust election period, 30 years after our first. And our last priority that was outlined in our manifesto is to build a better Africa and a world. It speaks to our relationship with international fora, where what we feel should be done to strengthen them, make them more representative, where it spells out our view and our perspective on Africa, fostering and strengthening and really implementing the Africa Free Trade Area Agreement, the institutions, international institutions like United Nations, making reforms and making them real institutions for international cooperation, but also more free and equitable world. Thank you.
We're going to tackle the issue of crime. The third quarter crime statistics from the South African Police Service, specific to Gauteng, we had 1,700 murders. We also had over 2,000 kidnappings in the province of Gauteng. This is obviously a key area of concern. How do we address this going forward? Let's take the next question to the ANC. Premier Panyaza Lesufi has formed the Community Crime Wardens, which are popularly known as Amapanyaza. Is this the solution to crime for the people of Gauteng?
So what our solution to the crime of the people in Gauteng is really threefold. It's about increasing human resources, so the Amapanyaza is one part of it. The second is to increase the budget that is allocated to community safety, which we have done in the past financial year. And the third is the use of technology in partnership with the private sector. The use of technology is, for instance, the use of drones, capacitating our command center or response center, enabling people to have direct contact using applications, reporting or calling on those who enforce the law. So we're going to expand on that. But if you don't use technology, if you don't use intelligence, private sector investment as well, and strengthen community structures, you're not going to resolve the issue of crime. Criminals are harbored in our communities, and in many, if not most instances, criminals are known to those in.
Thank you so much, Mr. Aznim. The question is relating to service delivery in respect of the provinces. Do we still need the provinces? ANC, you've had 30 years. These are your mandated structures. Do we need constitutional amendments in relation to the provinces?
So no, we don't need constitutional amendments. What we do need, both national and provincial government, to be strengthened to give added support to municipalities where it needs to, not just from the IGR perspective or an intergovernmental relation perspective, but so we shouldn't have national and provincial government just focusing on policy without actually getting into spaces where municipalities are unable, for various reasons, to be able to provide services. The other aspect is, which we are looking at, is the structure and model of municipalities. Some municipalities, they are just not viable. simply because of the structure of a municipality. They have got low income bases. You have people that, in essence, can't pay rates and taxes. Municipalities are income-based. They are supposed to generate their own income to be able to pay their own services, provide services, etc.
Thank you so much to the ANC. And with
Good morning. My name is Reneva Fourie, and my question is to the ANC. Gauteng is the largest economy in the country and also the 6th largest economy on the African continent. Could you please elaborate to say what is it that the ANC has done to grow the economy so much? And could you also elaborate on the special economic zones that the ANC has initiated?
Thanks so much. Yes, so our strategy in the province is premised on 10 sectors that we've identified as high growth. They include manufacturing, logistics, financial services, ICT. Because of time, I won't express all of them. But how to support them is through the SEZ, Special Economic Zone. We've identified 1 per developmental corridor. 2 are fully operational, with 1 being its expansion in the next, or this current financial year. That's the OR Tambo SEZ. The OR Tambo SEZ supports light manufacturing for export manufacturing. So we take raw material like gold, diamonds, etc., fresh produce, and it's manufactured, added quality, and then it's for the export market. As you know, in Gauteng, the Tshwane SEZ is the automotive manufacturer. Again, we take raw product, a lot of it locally sourced, and manufacture automotives through OEMs for the export market, all of them.
thank you so much, Ms. Mutara.
Thank you. My name is Shadrach Mkonto from Alexandra. My last question is regard to all the panelists that are sitting here. Is there any political party amongst you who serves that is willing to go in marriage after election with the ANC? Thank you very much.
The ANC, you're already co-governing with the EFF and the Patriotic Alliance in Ekurhuleni and the city of Johannesburg. Are these your ideal partners going forward after this election?
Our ideal partners are those who we can establish a government with basic principles that we can all agree on. The current coalition in Ekurhuleni is not the first coalition. So the previous term of government in Ekurhuleni, we had a coalition, very stable. It was established on principles. It was established on mutual understanding of what is priority and what we all need to agree on. So as long as we can agree on those established principles, hold each other accountable, and understand what it is that we seek to achieve, we'll enter into those coalitions. But stability...
In short, if you dip below 50%, you're still willing to work with the EFF?
With parties that we can establish a stable government established on pre-agreed principles, yes.
Even if that's Ms. Ncheka at the DA?
They must agree on those principles. If they agree on the principles, then yes. If they don't, we can't. Because it's going to... If they agree on those principles. If they can't, it's going to equate to instability and politicized service delivery.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. My name is Pagamile. I'm the spokesperson for NUMSA. NUMSA is the largest trade union in South Africa, representing over 300,000 workers. I'm curious to understand, first of all, we have 2 questions. As a union, we care very much about state-owned entities and their capacity to create jobs, build value chains, and develop the economy. We believe that the government must intervene so that we can develop these jobs. When SAA was at its height, it created over 24,000 jobs along the value chain. Since they crashed it and liberalized it and tried to privatize it, it does not play its role anymore. This is the case also with Eskom. I'd like the panelists to please comment on their position with regards to state-owned entities and what their role will be in relation to building the South African economy. Secondly, I'd also like the panelists to talk about Palestine. What's happening in Palestine is a genocide. And I think there are parties that are busy pushing this narrative that somehow Israel is a victim. Israel is not a victim. This is an apartheid state that is massacring people, innocent people, on a large scale. And we don't want to hear any wishy-washy positions. I'd like Mzansi in particular to be very clear. Do you support genocide and mass murder of innocent people, or are you against apartheid Israel?
Our position on Palestine is well known. We are against everything that Israel is doing and has been doing. We support the Palestinian cause and have championed through government the ICJ case, and will continue to advocate for a free Palestinian people. Secondly, on the on the position of the ANC as it relates to SOEs. So SOEs we identify definitely as strategic assets of the country. They have to play a role in not only skills but capabilities, as well as making us as a country globally competitive. What needs to be addressed is, in some of them, the structural issues that they may have. We have many more SOEs than just the ESCOM and the Transnet, who actually do very well. They are governed well, they perform well. They also have got instances of good balance sheets, etc. Those practices need to be replicated across, and of course,
Thank you so much, MEC. Your
SOEs
time
will
is up.
continue to play a role
Action
in
is
South
safe.
Africa.
On our end, ANC, your special economic zones, I think we need to focus on inclusion. What are the minimum qualifying criteria for local entrepreneurs like myself that don't surpass the 50 million rand threshold? Please, 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 we're here to engage, my brother. We don't surpass the 50 million rand threshold, but we can't be included within those spaces. You know what
Thank you
I'm
so
saying?
much. Let's
We
hear the-
can't be
let's-
included within those
Let's hear
spaces.
the responses. We press for time.
So yes, our SEZs, a big component of it is localization and local ownership. So if you look at the Tambo SEZ, of all the companies that are manufacturing there, I think there's only 3 that are non-South African. The rest are all South African owned. In fact, we've got the first black diamond buyer who's established at the SEZ. And transformation, but in a very practical and meaningful way, is very important in the SEZs. But essentially, it's about incentivizing the private sector and attracting investment. That's what is it about. And if you incentivize them, there has to be conditions that are laid and put down, which we do have and have put in amongst all of them. And we look whether it's, if you're using different which policy to be able to achieve that, we do that, but it's a non-negotiable.
Okay, thank you so much. The ANC?
Thank you so much. A vote for the ANC would mean defending our democracy and our democratic gains, defending the human rights that we have all benefited from. A vote for the ANC would mean that an expansion of the services that have extended to all South Africans, an increase in professionals, increase in skills, and increase in the expansion of a black middle class that has benefited from the policies of the ANC, and
And with
that to
that,
expand to all South
time
Africans.
is up.